Hello and welcome to the garden. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to make this video or not, but I figured why not? Because if I don't have any content. The reason I was kind of questioning it is a lot of these Dutch irises actually look kind of the same. I wanted to grow a wide range of these Dutch iris this year to see, what they were all about, if my opinion would change. And you know what? Actually, I've kind of changed my mind, my original thought about these, and I guess I'll show you around. I'd originally thought that blue, kind of boring, but I will say after having planted these in a large number, I'm kind of sold on it. I'm kind of into it. I kind of like it. Anyway, let's get into it. This first one is a beautiful white and yellow. This one is called Montecito. If you remember the tour from 2001 that I will reference a little bit later in the video, I have grown this one before. When it first opens, those I guess those are our standards. I'm not really sure on the terminology. They open very white, and over time they fade to this beautiful kind of pale blue color that you see here in the video. Next, we have one that's called Alaska. You may notice that this one is very similar to Montecito in a lot of ways. There's definitely less of that yellow coloring. It's more of just that kind of yellow, I guess, throat area. I'm not sure what you'd call this. And the colors seem to stay a little bit more true white. There was a little bit of a hint of a blue, a light blue, as the flowers aged, but for the most part, these were staying true to their, opening form. Next, we have one called True Blue, and this one is aptly named. It is a true, beautiful blue color. Everybody knows blue is one of the more rare flower colors, and it is a pleasant surprise. In the past, I've not really liked blue because it can be a little bit harsh and just kind of out of place. Like, what? Blue flowers, But the more I grow them, the more I come to love them. And I think that's pretty much evident in how my taste in flowers and picking flowers has evolved over time, which is kind of weird to think about. Next, we have Nova Blue, as the name would imply. It is another blue variety. You'll notice that the differences between a lot of these is very, very subtle, and to a point, you really can't tell the difference. You can tell the difference in person. This Nova Blue is very pretty. It's got that same true blue color, but the little kind of falls petal part is a little bit lighter, a little bit of a more pastel shade. Here the two are in a bucket together. You can see the noticeable difference. So just that lighter color variation, a little more on the pastel side, leaning towards lavender a little bit. Next, we have another blue variety. This one is called Sapphire Beauty, and it is indeed a beauty. This one is a little bit darker than the other two that I've already showed you. Opening up in the garden, it is a very dark blue, almost heading into purple territory. When you see these group shots of these together, it is so difficult to distinguish between them without any kind of markers or anything. Fortunately, I did a very good job of labeling all of these varieties this year because I knew I was wanting to make this tour. The next one is a gorgeous one. It is another kind of white and yellow. This one is called Symphony. Much like the Alaska, I believe you'll notice the yellow bits on the lower petals is much more prominent in these, so it kind of gives you a little bit more bang for your buck in terms of color. If I had to choose between the two, I would probably choose this one just because the stem length was a little bit longer here in my yard, and the upper petals held their white color just a tiny bit better. As these flowers aged in the garden, they did take on that light blue appearance, but it was less prominent than the Alaska variety. So if I had to pick one for cut flowers, I would probably choose this one just because I like the overall color composition a little bit better, and the stems were longer. But really, I mean, apples to oranges, I guess. No, that expression doesn't work, does it? No. Anyway, moving on. Let's keep going. Next, we have a variety. We're heading into kind of purple territory. This is called Park Avenue. I think the camera did a really good job of picking up the true color of this one. Silver Sky bloomed next. I should have mentioned these are in order that they bloomed. It's a beauty. It's a very soft lavender color. It is just so gorgeous and enchanting. And this is really what I'm looking for spring flowers, just that soft, delicate pastel colors. Works with a wide range of different kind of you know, color palettes and things like that, and fits really well in the garden. I really, really liked that one. Next, we have one called Tigress. I couldn't resist working a flower arrangement into this video, of course. And this one, this variety, is a very deep purple. This is very similar to the purple I showed you, but just a little bit deeper. And again, depending on the light, it can kind of veer into dark blue territory or like royal blue territory. I should mention the vase life on these is incredible. Even when I pick them after they've already opened, amazing. A week or more, great vase life. Really love that too. Very similar to another we've already seen. This is Casablanca. As you can imagine, with a name like Casablanca, this is a white one. This is another one that does a really good job of holding up in the garden and holding up in the weather. We also had some other different colors, like we had some yellows, and we had some more of these kind of deep blue tones. I apologize if I don't have enough video or I don't get into, you know, a lot of detail about every single one of these. It's just so many of them are so similar that it's kind of difficult to do in this format to talk about each one individually. But I think it's helpful if you are wanting to grow your own Dutch irises, because let's face it, not everybody wants to plant an entire bed of these things like I did this year. I'm kind of crazy. These bulbs were on sale at the last minute. This was definitely like a last minute video that I planned last fall when I made this huge planting. I think overall, most of my favorite varieties this year were the ones that are just really lovely pastels. I think there was Silvery Beauty was one of my favorites. It was absolutely gorgeous. And you'll see also in this video a little later that was definitely my absolute favorite. But in terms of picking and choosing between each of the different ones, it's pretty easy to tell that, you know, some of them you don't need to grow all of them. Anyway, my favorite, I can't remember, was Carmen. Carmen was my absolute favorite. I think this was one of the most gorgeous Dutch irises that I've ever grown. They are white, a little bit of lavender, but those inner petals, that deep purple, oh my goodness, oh, they're so pretty. Also has that deep purple veining that is so lovely and contrasts so nicely with different flowers. This one's a keeper. If I could only grow one, I think I would choose Carmen. So as you can see, when you're taking a look at all the different Dutch irises that I grew this year, this is actually quite a different color palette than what I grew in the past. And that's what I wanted to kind of bring up and show you guys, jumping back to 2021, the first time that I ever grew Dutch iris. You'll remember that the color palette was something much, much different because I had all these preconceived notions of what I did and didn't like. Like, I was certain that I didn't like blues and those regular kind of deep purples. I don't like those. Well, I'm happy to report that I was definitely wrong. This bed was just so happy and cheerful, and it made me smile every time I walked by it. When it was in full bloom, it was gorgeous, and I would definitely grow these colors again, which is actually really lucky for me because these are perennial and they'll probably come back. In this video, I did want to show you kind of a blast from the past, the tour video from 2021. I'm not even sure if it's still on my channel, but I did want to put some of the best bits in here for you guys to enjoy if you want to watch it. Some really pretty ones like Miss Saigon and Autumn Princess, and oh, just really gorgeous ones in here. So I'll leave you to it. I'll leave the video to play with some music. I hope you love it. Thank you so much for watching this. Without you, it wouldn't be possible, and I am so, so grateful. So thank you. I hope the weather is beautiful wherever you are. You totally deserve it, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.